All right, welcome to our explainer for episode 100 of Office Drama Stories. Today, we're dissecting how something as incredibly mundane as corporate records and raw IT logs became the ultimate weapon to take down a massive, highly polished lie. Now, if you've been following this corporate drama universe, you already know how intense the slow burn office tension gets. But in this landmark episode, the battleground isn't some dramatic shouting match in a boardroom. Nope. It's the company's own audit trail. We're going to see exactly how quiet, completely invisible data takes down very loud, very powerful people.
The record did not raise its voice. It simply waited for someone patient enough to read it. I mean, what a brilliant line. It perfectly captures that slow burn tension we're exploring today, and honestly, it sets the absolute foundation for this entire storyline. It proves that quiet, persistent documentation is literally the ultimate weapon against toxic workplace politics. Because, when executives try to spin the truth, the raw data doesn't argue back. It just sits there, patiently holding on to reality. So to track the anatomy of this cover-up, we're going to move through 5 distinct phases today. Number 1, the danger of ordinary objects. 2, the power of fine print. 3, building the proof map. 4, advice as a covert threat. And finally, number 5, institutionalizing corporate truth. Let's jump right into section 1, the danger of ordinary objects. So the inciting incident of this episode is brilliant because it illustrates that the most dangerous corporate threats almost never look dangerous at first glance. Take the public memory review. On paper, it's just this totally mundane administrative procedure where employees read corrected records out loud. Sounds boring, right? But the character Adrian tries to use this exact, everyday process as a covert tool to quietly erase company history before the rest of the office has even had their morning coffee. It is a masterful stroke of corporate sabotage, specifically because it looks so small. Early morning meetings disguised as routine housekeeping? Yeah, that's the perfect cover for rewriting the rules. And just listen to the soothing, evasive vocabulary the executives use to push this thing through. Words like alignment, healing, and fresh start. We've all heard those buzzwords, haven't we? They deliberately use them to mask the undeniable reality hiding in the deleted files. Adrian argues that holding on to public memory keeps the company trapped in the past. But when you strip away that soft language, the systemic reality hits hard. This is actually erasure. It's convenient forgetting. It's a full-blown cover-up. Wrapping a devastating data purge in the warm, fuzzy blanket of corporate wellness is just such a classic manipulative tactic. Moving on to section 2, the power of fine print. It actually takes a new employee's naive curiosity to start unraveling this whole narrative. Operations coordinator Sofia Lane just starts asking these very simple, completely foundational questions. Things like, who changed it, when did it change, and who approved the change? She completely ignores the unspoken office culture that views metadata and footnotes as, inconvenient. Because she's new, she actually believes the rules are meant to be read and followed. It's such a masterful moment in the script, proving that the fine print, literally the part everyone else is trained to skip right over, is exactly where the truth hides. Which brings us to section 3, building the proof map. This is where our protagonist, strategy lead Maya Carter, steps in. She connects all these tiny inconsistencies without ever once raising her voice. Maya knows she doesn't need louder opinions. What she needs is a clean path from the action directly to the owner. So she builds this tactile sequence on the glass wall, following a super strict methodology. Step 1, identify the object. Step 2, track the owner. Step 3, verify the timestamp. And Step 4, expose the beneficiary. She follows the systems because she knows that while people might lie and deny their actions, systems hesitate. Systems leave footprints. A clean sequence of records starts speaking long before any guilty party actually confesses. And Maya absolutely isn't doing this alone. The invisible background workers see literally everything, and they pull from their routine daily tasks to build this undeniable case. Nina, the executive assistant, brings calendar exports and visitor logs, proving exactly when rooms were booked. Jordan from IT Audit translates raw system logs and access data, which proves the truth isn't some cinematic hacker moment. It's literally just a sequence of keystrokes. And then Aisha, the analyst, brings the hammer down with what the script calls the room-shrinking question. Who really benefits if this change stays classified as harmless? Now, this number, 19, is absolutely crucial. It represents the invisible shield the team has built up over time. It stands for the 19 previous episodes, meaning the specific repairs and structural changes made all the way from episode 81 to 99. The team proves that those past battles weren't just for show. They are now actively preventing a repeat shortcut. The institutional memory the company fought so hard for, it's actually working. They don't have to wait for a full-blown crisis because those past 19 repairs stand as an impenetrable wall against Adrian's attempted cover-up. Let's dive into Section 4, Advice as a Covert Threat. As you'd expect, as the mountain of evidence grows, the pushback begins. But the script does something amazing here. It portrays this resistance not as loud yelling, but as soft, highly manipulative mentorship. Adrian Vale delivers this incredibly chilling line in a hallway. Be careful not to turn every inconsistency into a crisis. It arrives perfectly disguised as concern, just a gentle suggestion that mature leaders know when to stop digging. And wow, this is exactly how deeply ingrained habits try to quietly shut down accountability, by framing the pursuit of truth as a sign of panic or immaturity. But Maya's response delivers the absolute core lesson you should take away from this explainer today. A healthy workplace protects the record, not the comfortable lie. Truth is not damage, hiding it was. She flat out refuses to let a factual, documented inconsistency be reframed as an emotional overreaction. By holding the line right there, she shifts the entire power dynamic of the office. The damage isn't the data point she found. The damage is the culture that demanded she look the other way. And that leads us to our final part, Section 5, Institutionalizing Corporate Truth. So we finally reach the climax in the boardroom where this formal memory review completely transforms into an undeniable display of public accountability. Page by page, timestamp by timestamp, Maya places the raw proof right beside the official explanation. The polite corporate theater just completely breaks down. Facts are placed over feelings. Adrian's soft, evasive explanations literally seem to shrink in the face of raw logs. The quiet record does all the heavy lifting for them. And in this brilliant checkmate, Maya points out that if someone tries to argue the record was altered, well, the change to the record simply becomes the new evidence. There's just no way around it. The cover-up cannot survive in the same room as the data. And then, instead of agreeing to some quiet HR settlement to make it all go away, board member Elise makes a massive, game-changing move. She turns the memory review into an annual public ritual, hardwiring the repair directly into the system. Because think about it, private executive fixes might make leadership feel comfortable in the moment, but they leave future employees completely exposed to the exact same abuse down the line. The true victory here is the establishment of visible process controls. They refuse a private, swept-under-the-rug fix, and instead write the lesson directly into the workflow. The repair absolutely has to outlive the meeting. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with a bit of a provocative thought about your own corporate environment and the systems you use every single day. If your workplace had a memory review, what would the record actually say? Would it show a clear, honest history or a carefully curated narrative? Remember, a workplace doesn't become safer just because brave heroes keep rescuing the truth day in and day out. It becomes safer when the truth no longer needs permission to appear. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and remember, never underestimate the quiet, patient power of the record.